Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. Well, I've always said that I want to pass on things that I learn. I want to pass tips on so that maybe you can enjoy fishing as much as I do. And maybe you can enjoy it even more. One of the things that I really come to realize, and this is a basic, and we've talked about it before, but it really hit strong to me. The other day I was fishing with my buddy Rust, and we were in one of our tributaries, and I was catching so many fish. And he seemed to be a bit frustrating because he wasn't having the same results. But I'm pretty sure I know what the secret was. And the secret was the speed of my presentation. You know, fish can move at speeds that we can't even imagine until you watch some of the crashing attacks that fish will make to get their bait. But they will react sometimes more to a fast retrieve and sometimes more to a slow retrieve. We already know that speed plays a huge role in trolling. And some fish you want to troll at a slower speed, like for walleyes or maybe for lake trout. You want a slower speed than you would employ for salmon, for example. They're going to move faster. They're going to want something that's going faster. And it's the same way with, let's say, muskies. Muskies will come and strike within 20 feet of your prop if you were moving over 5 miles an hour through the water, probably faster than that. So every fish will react at different times to different speeds. But the day that I was fishing, we were both using the same basic type of technique, but I was reeling mine in at a much slower pace. And what that enabled the fish to do, I think, is maybe look at it more or something. But the difference in the strikes was amazing. And again, I watched Russ, and he was reeling so fast. He always was reeling fast, moving. And in this case, a slower retrieve seemed to make a difference. The other thing that came it just hit me watching was the direction that you bring your lure can make such a difference. You can use the same lure, be fishing in the same water, but if you bring your lure in the direction that the fish seem to be keying on as they're watching for other food to go by. In this case, as we were fishing along the banks, rather than casting to the bank, I was casting upstream almost to within inches of the shore and bringing my lure back about a foot to 2 feet off the shore. But what happened in the area we were fishing is the shore dropped off quickly. So 2 feet out was up to maybe 5 or 6 feet deep. And so those fish were hanging right on that drop. And as they'd watch the lure go right along the edge of the drop, that's what was making them strike. If we'd been out and casting into shore, our window of opportunity would have only been maybe a foot or two as it moved away from shore, and then they would have let it go. But by bringing it constantly along the shore, it made a difference. Now, you could have another instance where it was just the opposite, where those fish are used to having things jump in from shore and swim outward. And so they will attack as your lure leaves the shore area and goes out. My point is the direction of the retrieve can mean everything, and the speed can mean everything. And you can have two people using the same lures, the same bait, and one can catch a lot more fish than the other because of one of those two factors. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.